Hello, I'm Joe Crisara from ContractorSelling.com, and welcome to Joe TV, the place you go to change your thinking and grow your sales. Now, if you could make one change to the way you do business that could double or triple your revenue without any type of significant investment, would you make that change? I thought so. If you know me, you know why giving options instead of ultimatums not only provides world-class service to your customers, but also has the ability to dramatically increase your revenue. But before we get all excited and just start throwing any old options together, you should know that there's a science to this. There's a psychology at play here, and you need to know how to follow certain option building guidelines to make sure your options will work as effectively as possible. Sound complex? Well, I suppose it could be if you're just guessing. But the good news is I've done all the homework for you, and now on today's show, I'm going to show you the 7 steps to building a winning option sheet. But before we get started, there are 4 major rules I want you to follow every single time you build your options. Rule number 1 is that you must always give 6 options when you give people prices. If that sounds like a lot to you, it really isn't. It's really only 2 options for each buyer type: premium buyers, mid-range, and economy buyers. This way, after the buyer discovers what type of solution they want, they have 2 choices at that price level. So the question then becomes, okay, I'm a premium buyer and there's 2 premium choices. Which option do I want? Not, where can I find another price to compare this to? Rule number 2 is that you're always going to build your option sheets by beginning with the most premium solution first and then decreasing each one down to the most economical solution, which is essentially called the Band-Aid. We call it that because it's the most economical way to fix the exact problem that people called us out for and no more. Rule number 2 is where the psychology comes in. You're going to start with the most premium option to leverage a law of social psychology called the law of contrast. The law of contrast is based on the fact that the human brain needs some sort of comparison to make judgments, especially when we're in an unfamiliar situation or dealing with a product or service we just don't understand. The old way of doing things, for instance, you tell a customer that the repair is going to cost $400. The old way, you were trained to open up a national pricing guide and show only one price, take it or leave it. The customer thinks, wow, $400? That's a lot of money. But if you create 6 options, starting with the most premium option first, customers are able to better see what's possible, and they'll tend to gravitate closer to the middle and premium options. Why? Because contrast against the top option, the $400 seems too cheap. Rule number 3 is that your options have to be what we call on code. That means that the solutions you're providing have to be meaningful enough to resonate with the family. In other words, you have to take time to get to know people and their unique situation. This means becoming familiar with the challenges and victories, their first names and their habits, who they are as a person, and much more. Only then can you truly design on-code solutions that are unique to the customer. Rule number 4 is that you have to have done a whole system diagnosis inspection to create meaningful options that work. You have to look past the immediate problem you were called out for and diagnose the system as a whole, or what we call what else. Okay, then you have to create options that will improve the safety, health, the comfort of your customers.